Known for his amazing stark photographs in black and white and some in color, Greg Gorman has published a book called It's Not About Me, but today it is about him. Welcome, Greg. Nice to have you with us.
Thanks. Thank you so much for having me.
So the work speaks for itself. Is that what you're saying? Why you titled that?
The name was really that I focus on the talent and don't try to put so much emphasis on myself. I try to make it all about them.
How did you, at what point did you decide that this was going to be your life?
Well, I borrowed a friend's camera in 1968 to shoot Jimi Hendrix, and that was the hook. And then when I got out of film school, I realized I couldn't shoot anything that couldn't talk back to me, so it was always about people, and it was always about the movie stuff. I was never really a fashion photographer, more in the entertainment end.
Well, that kind of explains why David Bowie is one of the first images we see when we open your book. Tell me about that experience.
The book is kind of pictured in a way that I show a lot of pictures of people that I worked with for many years. David and I worked together for a dozen years, doing a lot of album covers and all. And he was one of the smart people that realized the importance of a photograph. And when he had a project, we would shoot a lot of pictures to kind of encompass that project.
Sidney Poitier, another great actor, great performer. I love the way the power in that photograph. He's not wearing a shirt. He looks amazing. Tell me about that.
You know, I don't remember that much about that, Carlos. It was a picture that was taken for a motion picture campaign. So it's a specific concept. And that was the theory behind that photograph. So I was given a comp by an art director and said, this is what we're looking for. And then I went about trying to light it with my style of lighting and capture him.
And you have so many amazing women in your photographs. Some of them are, well, most of them are not smiling. Is that a conscious thing that you wanted to do?
Yeah, it's funny that you picked up on that. If you look at a lot of my work, my pictures are more on the serious side, not so jovial. I'm a practical joker, and I hate people that are humor impaired, but I tend to like to capture the serious content in a person's face.
Yeah, I mean, I like Faye Dunaway, who's obviously was a very talented model as well as actress. The look in her eye is really, really intense.
Now, that was in Hawaii with Marlon Brando on a movie with Johnny Depp called Juan Demarco and the Centerfold.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that very, very well. One of the other things that struck me is that the way you position the photographs in your book. You have a young Sylvester Stallone and a young Tom Hanks. Was that a conscious effort?
You know, I work with a very creative art director, Gary Johns, who's basically, he did the conceptual layout for the book, and I thought the positioning worked well.
They're very young and they're very clean cut. It's like, really throws you back immediately.
Well, back in my 15 minutes of fame, I got a lot of them when they were quite young, Carlos. They were both very young in those pictures, exactly.
What do you hope people take away from your work and what it speaks to them about you?
I think for me, the most important thing is trying to get inside their head. A lot of what I do is trying to play psychologist with them, to bring them or myself up and down to each other's level so that there's a level of trust and confidence. You kind of can get a feeling of who that person is behind the facade of the characters they portray in the movies.
I'm curious about one thing, because it seems that the entire world has become a photographer. We all have phones, we all have cameras. What's your sense about what we're seeing now in photography as opposed to the way that you've done it your whole life?
Well, it's very different, as you know, and I think, I don't know if you're as old school as I am, but, you know, I'm not a big Instagram guy. I post occasionally. Everybody's a photographer today. They all have their own cellular phone. They have Photoshop to change their pictures, and everything is autofocus, auto exposure. I must confess I'm kind of old school, and I like to go back to the light meter and taking a reading and setting my camera.
Yeah, you know, there's something about that, the starkness of what you do, the black background, the way the light hits them, it reveals on some wrinkles and imperfections that perhaps, now everybody just zhuzhes up the photos and makes them look perfect. And I think that takes away from the character of the person, don't you?
Well, absolutely. And I mean, I think when I first started shooting, all my pictures looked like overly lit postage stamps. And I realized that it was not oftentimes what I said in my highlights, but what I didn't say in my shadows that made a picture more interesting and brought a viewer back to them over again, rather than seeing everything exposed openly and overly lit.
In fact, let me turn off my light here. Watch. I'm going to do this right on purpose, right in front of you. Oh yeah, that's much more dramatic.
Yeah, you got some shadow. We thinned out that face. See, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Getting those angles going, Carlos.
There's a Greg Gorman color photo right there.
There you go.
All right, Greg, thank you so much. The book is called It's Not About Me. It's available now. It's an amazing collection. How many photographs?
Well, close to 400.
It's an incredible book to take a look at. Thank you so much. And I so appreciate your work. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate your time as well. Very much.
Can I turn the light back on?
You may.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Be well. Take care.
You too.